Welcome back to Math Zen, everyone. Today's lesson is going to focus on composing and decomposing numbers. If you've got a set of base 10 blocks, today's lesson is a great time to use them.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at topic 1, lesson 4. If you've got a set of base 10 blocks, this is definitely the lesson for them. If not, even drawing this stuff out can help you as well. So let's take a look first at this post-it note over here, as it says something extremely important. It says that you cannot have more than 9 parts in any given place value. If you do, those 10 become one of the next larger place values. This right here is key to unlocking the rest of this lesson. So let's take a look at what we've got here. It says write this number in standard form. 12 tenths plus 2 hundredths plus 4 thousandths. In standard form, that's written as 1 and 224 thousandths. Now, let's see how we got that from this. So, again, if we refer back to the post-it note, it says that you can never have more than 9 of a certain value in a place value. So in this case, we have 12 in the tenths place. We can't have that. So what happens is 10 of those tenths become one whole. All right, and that's what this says here. This one whole is created from 10 of the 12 tenths. And then this 2, which is in the tenths place, is just the remaining 2 tenths out of the 12 that didn't get to grow up to become a one whole. Now, a little side note here, you might have heard me say grow up. When I was in school, my father, who is Mr. Goodmath, who is the original OG of teaching math, used to teach place value as in growing up in little individual houses. And he would always say that if you have 10 of any individual in any house, they've got to grow up to become one of the next larger place value. So that's just one way that I illustrate that to my students. I tell a little story about, okay, these guys grew up to become the next biggest place value, and then the next, and the next, and so on and so forth. Also, like I had mentioned, pictures and actual base 10 manipulatives work wonders for this lesson. Now, moving on to the next slide, I'm going to be walking you through a couple more of these examples. All right, now we're going to see how what we just learned on the previous slide applies to some sample problems. For all 3 of these problems, we're going to be looking for standard form. Now, the way that I like to attack these problems is I actually like to start from the right and work my way to the left, regrouping when necessary. So for 11 thousandths, I know that I can make a group of hundredths out of that. So that one group of hundredths grows up to become now 6 hundredths, remaining 1 thousandth over here. And I don't have enough hundredths, because I only have 6 of them, to grow up to become tenths, so no regrouping is necessary. Then I look at the 13 tenths and realize that I can get a full group of tenths to become another 1, which would give me 8, and it would leave 3 tenths left. So our final answer for number 1 here would be 8 and 361 thousandths. Same type of thinking here. I know that I can't have more than 9 thousandths in this place value. I know that I can get another group of thousandths to turn into hundredths here. So we're now going to have 16 hundredths. And then out of those 16 hundredths, I know I can have 1 grow up to become a tenth, which would give me 4. And I don't have enough tenths to grow up to become another 1. So our final answer for this one is going to be 4 and 463 thousandths. And again, for the last one here, we do have enough thousandths for us to have 1 more group of hundredths, which would make 4 hundredths. 4 hundredths is not enough to grow up to become tenths, but here I have 14 tenths, which is enough for a group of ones. So we're going to carry a 1 over there. So our final answer for number 3 would look like 1 and 443 thousandths. Awesome job so far. If you're sticking with me, you know what's coming next. It's your turn to practice a few on your own. All right, it's now time for you to show what you've learned to try some of these on your own. Now would be a good time to pause the screen and then check back in with me to see how you did once you've solved them.
Let me try to figure this out.
All right, now that you've had enough time to solve these on your own, let's see how you did. So for number 4, you can see that 16 thousandths, we did have enough to regroup into the hundredths, and then we did also have enough twelfths to regroup into the ones. So your final answer here should have been 5 and 216 thousandths. Number 5, we did again have enough thousandths to regroup to hundredths. Then we also had enough tenths to regroup to ones. So our final answer for this one should be 9 and 368 thousandths. And then this one was intentionally made a little bit tricky, so hopefully you did get 10 and 233 thousandths. And the tricky part lies right here, where we had enough tenths to grow up to 9 ones, but again, that would make 10 ones, and we can't have that, so we would need to regroup into the tens place. So that's why we ended up with 10 and 233 thousandths. Awesome job if you got those 3 right.
Great work today. You should be really proud of yourself. I hope you're feeling a little better about decomposing and composing numbers. Remember, if you're still confused, there's nothing wrong with going back to watch the video again. So long, until next time. As always, don't forget to find your Math Zen.